Northwest Liberty News, picking the lock on the shackles of tyranny.
Machines are gonna fail, and the system's gonna fail.
The past is past, the future's now.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Sometimes trouble just follows a man.
There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus.
Can't you stop your lips from flapping for 2 little minutes?
Because I'm white.
I'm a man. I'm sensitive. I need to feel loved. I need to be desired.
I'm rapping that there's coming a big underground success in this town.
It's a question of methods. Everybody wants results, but nobody wants to do what they have to do to get it done.
And now, coming to you live from Kalispell, Montana, brought to you by Northwest Liberty News, it's Montana Gazette Radio with your host, James White. Okay, I'm your host, James White. Thanks so much for joining me here today on the broadcast on this 10th day of February 2017. If everything's working properly, we should be simulcasting on multiple platforms, a couple of three Facebook channels, pages actually, a couple of YouTube channels, Twitch, LinkedIn, D Live, and of course on Podbean. We do appreciate you joining us here again, as I said, on the broadcast. Before I have a guest here with us today, we're going to be bringing Jeremy on here in just a moment. I booked him, of course, after I named the show. We're talking about the topic, the lies and liars who tell them, and that specifically pertains to our own Senator Jon Tester and some of the recent comments that he made. I'm going to play those comments and I'm going to comment on those myself. But I spoke to Jeremy Marsh after that, and we're certainly he is exempt from that title, and we want to welcome him here to the show and thank him so much for being here. Let me take him off of mute. And Jeremy is, let me give a proper introduction here. Jeremy is the head of the Stillwater Christian School here in Kalispell, and he has done a great work getting great legislation passed here to benefit, really the folks, because that's really, we are the government, and we've talked about that on this show numerous times. And it's great to see people stand up and have their voices heard. We just published a story on Caitlin Ruck here a couple of days ago. She spoke, 16-year-old, spoke before Montana legislature. She's 16 years old, and she really knocked out of the park. We published that on Montana Daily Gazette. So we're here to encourage people to stand up and to do the right thing, and Jeremy certainly exemplifies that. Jeremy Marsh, thanks so much for joining us here today on the broadcast.
Thank you, Jim, for inviting me. It's great to be here with you.
Well, good to have you here. Pardon me. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to kick it off right away, and I'm going to go over to the letter that was sent out here, and then we're going to be I'll flash on the bill, and then we can discuss that, and you can tell me how we can discuss how important it is. I had head of Montana Family Foundation, Jeff Laszloffy, on the show here a couple of times, and last time he was on the show, we talked about the importance of this Espinoza ruling and how beneficial that was to the folks, to especially Christian schools and that type of thing. So we'll go over here real quick and talk about and look at this letter that came, or the email, I should say, that came out. I can just read it I'll just read the opening here real quick, and then we'll discuss each one of these points. This afternoon, I will be testifying remotely before the Montana House Education Committee in support of HB 279. This bill, which comes on the heels of last summer's U.S. Supreme Court victory for Montana's Scholarship Tax Credit Program in Espinoza versus Montana Department of Revenue, would dramatically expand and enhance the state scholarship program. As most of you know, the case involved 3 courageous Stillwater mothers whose willingness to fight for greater school choice is already having an impact nationwide, and we hope soon in Montana. So just for those, if we could, Jeremy, for those that aren't familiar with the original, the topic the paragraph I just read here about the 3 courageous Stillwater mothers, can we just go over that real quick and just reset a little bit and kind of just for context?
Yeah, certainly. So in 2015, the Montana legislature passed a school choice legislation in the form of a tax credit for Montana taxpayers towards gifts to student scholarship organizations that could go towards supporting parents who wanted to pursue non-public education for their kids, to send them to schools like Stillwater Christian School. But in the wake of that legislation being passed without a signature from the previous Montana governor, the Department of Revenue issued a rule, administrative rule, that parents could not use that scholarship money to send their kids to religious schools. And the Department of Revenue's rule was based on the state of Montana's no aid clause, sometimes called a Blaine Amendment in the state constitution. Based wrongly, as it turned out. So in 2015, these three moms, one of them, Kendra Espinoza, filed suit here locally in the Flathead County courthouse. And they were able to, they won initially. And so the Department of Revenue's rule was enjoined, meaning they couldn't enforce it. And so we have, over the last 5 years, had students benefit from this scholarship program. However, the program's very modest in terms of the amount of dollars. The cap on what a Montana taxpayer can give is at $150 per person. And so the most that any student who's received one of these Big Sky scholarships have gotten is $500 to help with tuition. But the case continued from 2015 on to kind of percolate through the court system. Initial win for Ms. Espinoza and the other moms, and then appealed by Department of Revenue, went up to the Montana Supreme Court, which ruled in the Department of Revenue's favor, and that was in late 2018. And then Ms. Espinoza petitioned through her attorneys, as well as the other moms, the United States Supreme Court to hear the case. And so in 2019, in the fall of 2019, the Supreme Court decided to hear the case, which is itself a big deal, in as much as the Supreme Court hears very few cases that they're asked to hear. And then the argument happened about a year ago in January of 2020, and the case was decided last summer favorably, basically with the court holding that that the Montana Supreme Court was wrong to exclude parents who wanted to send their kids to Christian religious schools, schools like Stillwater Christian School, and the program was reinstated.
You know, I find it ironic that the separation of church and state always works when it's to their benefit, but when it's to our benefit, oh no, it's not the same. But we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. We could have a whole show on that, I'm sure. Let's go back here and talk about some of these the points here specifically.
Yeah.
So let me first go here. HB 79. This is from the Montana Legislative website here. This is looks like it was requested by Derek Skees, who's been on this show numerous times, and so has Seth Bergley. And I don't know this the person there, the drafter. I'm not sure who that is, but we certainly do appreciate these fine legislators standing up for this. And Seth Bergley is just really, I think he's going to be really the person that. And a side note, this whole the whole constitutional carry, I think that's the bill that he just put out. It's really a big bill that's going to get ready to get passed here in the Montana legislature. So let's hit the first one here. Is increases the maximum donor contributions for scholarships towards scholarships from $150,000 to $200,000 per year. Wow. Yeah. That is a huge difference. Yeah. That is unbelievable. Wow. Yeah. So that is man, that's large. This is a much stronger tax incentive, will allow school choice organizations like Big Sky Scholarships and A Scholarships, which benefits Stillwater students. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Allows the program to grow naturally along with demand. The bill allows for the program's overall cap, currently set at $3 million, to automatically grow by 20% if 80% of the cap amount is raised in a given year. Can you break that one down a little bit? And for us regulars here that don't understand all that language, what
Sure.
does that mean?
So the program is capped in terms of the amount of dollars that are available for the tax credit at $3 million. And this has been the case since 2018 when the initial legislation was passed. But with such a low limit of $150 per taxpayer, and that includes corporate taxpayers, my understanding of the most that was eligible for the tax credit in any given year was somewhere in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. It never got close to that $3 million threshold. With a limit increased to $200,000, it's very possible, and it would seem likely that enough dollars will be given through donor contributions to get to that $3 million threshold. And so what this bill enables, and it's modeled after similar legislation in Georgia and Arizona, but what this bill enables is, excuse me, that if in the tax year 2021, Montana hits that $3 million threshold, then the threshold for the next year, for 2022, would be 20% higher, so another 600,000.
Wow, that's nice. That sounds like it sounds like there's going to be a big increase in the enrollment of Christian schools across the country, which is a good thing. I don't want to take up so much of your time. I know I told you about 10 or 15 minutes, and if I want to rush through these, I apologize for being quick, but I know you're trying to run a school there. I can appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Increases scholarship values to 100% of the state average per pupil expenditures. Previously, scholarship values were limited to 50%, and then streamlines process for donors and requirements for schools. Together, these changes will make the program more sustainable financially and easier to administer for both student scholarship organizations and participating schools. Okay, so we can highlight those two real quick if you want, and then talk about today at 3:00. You're going to be speaking in front of the committee, I believe. So how can people get involved? That's really what we want to motivate people to make the call. Travel to Helena if you can. Please, I'll turn it over to you. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Right. Yeah. Well, thanks, Jim. And thanks again for having me on today. Basically, the changes in this legislation make it easier for Montana families, Montana parents, to have true choice in terms of the education of their kids. This program does not put dollars in the coffers of schools. It puts it in the hands of parents, who then can choose if they believe the best place for their child is at a Christian school. Well, then they can choose a Christian school, or a private school that may have a particular focus or support particular needs that their kids have. They can pursue that option. So today, 3:00, there's a bill that's set to be heard by the House Education Committee, which is chaired by the sponsor of this legislation, Seth Bergley. I'd encourage, just as you did, to Montana citizens who are listening to make their voice heard. I believe I shared a link with you, Jim, if you want to make that available to your listeners, but it's through the ACE Scholarship Program. They make it very easy. If you want to use that means of making your voice heard, call your representative, your senators, let them know how important it is. Yeah, there it is. And you can see the URL there in the corner. But please take the time, even today, to tell our legislators who are in session now how important it is that this legislation get passed this year.
Jeremy Marsh, thanks so much for joining us here. And before we go, you want to give out the website to the school there before we go, so people can find out more about Stillwater?
Yeah. We're at www.stillwaterchristian.org.
www.stillwaterchristian.org. Check it out, folks. Jeremy, we so much appreciate you taking more time than I had said, and I appreciate you taking that time for me, extra time for me. Thanks so much, Jeremy. And we appreciate your work and put it to him today at the legislature. Let's get this passed, and thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
So will do. All right, take care.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks. Bye now.
Bye now.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go to this screen. There goes Jeremy Marsh. We appreciate him joining us here today on the show, and apologize to him for taking more time than he probably had. But we do appreciate his sacrifice and coming on the show here for us. And again, check him out over at Stillwater Christian School here in Kalispell. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here, and when we get back on the other side, I'm going to talk about the title of the show today, which is the Lies and Liars Who Tell Them. And as I stated before, that was not meant for Jeremy in any way. It's meant for our own Senator Jon Tester and the fairy tale that he's been weaving here recently about what's going on with impeachment trial and whatnot. So we're going to cover that and other things here on the other side. If you want to support this show, you can go to MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaDailyGazette.com, or of course the flagship northwestlibertynews.com. I'm your host, James White. We'll be back after these brief messages here on the show. If you like classic cars, exceptional service, and a money-back guarantee, then the Corner Shop in beautiful downtown Kalispell is the place for you. Whether it's an oil change, engine diagnostic, suspension work, or brakes all around, the Corner Shop has you covered. With expert technicians and a free consultation on all services, you can't go wrong with the Corner Shop. Did I mention the classic cars? While you're waiting for your expert service to be performed, take a stroll through the showroom to see Kalispell's smoothest collection of classic cars. The Corner Shop is conveniently located at 1212 South Main, just south of the courthouse. The Corner Shop is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., so drop by for an appointment or call 755-7777. That's 755-7777. The Corner Shop, Kalispell's full-service auto repair facility. Hi, this video is brought to you by PatriotPrepared.com, where right now you can save $250 on each large package purchase, plus get free shipping to the continental United States. In these troubled times, it's not a bad idea to have some extra food storage available, and you can save big at Patriot Prepared right now. Go to PatriotPrepared.com, that's PatriotPrepared.com, and use the code TRUMP250 at checkout to receive your savings today. Okay, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, James White. This is Montana Gazette Radio. Let me turn the volume up here. Yeah, we've had some people have been saying that there have been some volume issues, and I just don't know if there's something wrong with this board or what's going on, because I've got the levels turned up pretty high, and it should be coming through loud and clear. We had a bad show yesterday for some reason. My guest yesterday, when he connected with his Zoom, it started throwing static across. So I don't, sadly, that happens like right before the show starts. So I have like 2 minutes to figure it out, and I don't even know what's wrong. So anyway, that's part of live radio, and we appreciate you joining us here. If you want to support the show, you can support our sponsor, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, or you go to PatriotPrepared.com and save on all of the wonderful items that we have there. If that doesn't suit you, please go ahead and just hit the like button and help share the show and get it around. Trying to get the word out to the folks and trying to bring truth here in a world of lies, in a sea of lies. We live in a sea of lies, and we're just trying to put out the truth, and it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to get to what the truth is. That's for sure. But one of the good things, one of the best ways to get to the truth is to actually catch it on video, or the lies for this in this case. So what we're going to do is we're going to hear a video that was from Senator Jon Tester, and we're going to play this video here, and I'm going to comment after it. And I mean, it's one of those things where how they're lying if you see their mouth moving, kind of how it is. So let's pop over here and listen to Senator Tester.
It's going to be interesting because we've been through these. We were through this a year ago with what happened in Ukraine, and I think that You know, the folks then said, you know, if he's not convicted, he'll do something worse. The halls of the United States Capitol were, last time they were breached were during the War of 1812. I can tell you that there were serious offenses that happened. If we're going to have unity, there has to be accountability. I talked to one of the police officers here 10 days ago when I came into the building, a guy I know pretty well, and I said, so what's the scoop? Are all these guys armed? He said, they all weren't armed, but he said, a lot of them were armed. And he said, we, no pun intended, dodged a bullet.
We begin tonight in Toole County, where a search is...
So let's remember that. No pun intended, he says, we dodged a bullet. Let's go back here. I just hate when these things just automatically start. No pun intended, we dodged a bullet there with the Capitol raid, whatever they're calling it, right? So I want to play this for you, and just let me know again. Just watch the video and you let me know what you think. If this looks like what Senator Tester just said, he talked to his police guy that's been there, and we dodged a bullet. Okay. Now I turned the volume down on this because there was a lot of, dropping F-bombs and stuff like that. And it's not, I just don't have that kind of show. But you can find this video if you're into that sort of thing. You can find this video out there on the web from this guy here, the horned guy. Now, if you can, as I said, I've cut the audio off of this video. If you can, pay attention to the police officer that is there. Guy's all badged up and everything. And this is, I'm just going to play it. Again, there's no audio on here, so I guess I can talk over this. There's the police officer just walking right in with him, as you just saw. Couldn't you have pulled it? There's the police officer standing right there. I mean, it's like he's got a gun on him. To me, it's like he's got a sidearm. He's wearing a badge. This is dodging a bullet. This is dodging a bullet. This guy is... Cop is just... Can't he just pull his gun out there and say, hey, everybody on the ground, I don't know, everybody get in a corner, go on his radio, hey, I need backup. People are sitting around on cell phones, taking photos, cops standing there, directing them, basically. But according to Senator Tester and his contact at the police department, they dodged the bullet. It doesn't look to me like these guys they're causing mischief. It doesn't look to me like they are getting ready to harm anything, but they say, justice is coming. They wrote a letter, and only a matter of time, justice is coming. And there's the cop again doing nothing except kind of standing around. Now, how does that jive with the video, again, that we just saw, where Senator Tester, and we could, if we have to watch it again, we certainly can. Senator Tester just stated, I talked to the Capitol Police, and some of them are armed, and we dodged the bullet. It didn't look like they were very threatening to me. As a matter of fact, it looked like the cop was sort of helping them out. Now, also, this comes from KRTV. If you go down here to another, this is one of his quotes. Tester said, given Dane's role in the vote certification, he's not surprised. Let me go here and actually bring it up so you can see it. Let me make this a little bit larger here. There we go. Tester said, given Dane's role in the vote certification, he's not surprised that the Republican is arguing the trial is unconstitutional. He's covered, this is This is Tester's. He's covered for this president, and he was one of the 13 people that spread the lie about the election being stolen until the rioters overran the United States Senate chamber. So it isn't surprising that Senator Daines would take this radical right philosophy. Okay. Has anybody seen this movie right here? By the Pillow Guy? Michael Lindell? Has anybody had a chance to watch that? It's a couple hours long. Anybody hasn't? If you haven't had a chance to watch this, this is on BitChute. BitChute.com. BitChute. BitChute. My Pillow Guy, Mike Lindell's Absolute Proof documentary. If you look at that, you'll see that for someone with a straight face to stand up and say that there is no evidence to try to make the claim that Senator Daines, which I'm not really a big fan of, that's beside the point. For them to stand up and say that Senator Daines is spreading lies about the vote being stolen with the voluminous amount of evidence, what about you understand that when Jon Tester stands up and makes that claim, that what he's doing is he is putting that against the thousands and thousands, from what I understand, many thousands of signed affidavits by people under the penalty of prison. Under the penalty of prison. There's 4,000 or 5,000, from what I'm understanding, signed affidavits. All of those people are lying too. All of those people are part of the fraud. I mean, for Tester to stand up and say that, I mean, folks, it's nothing but it's nothing but a lie. 2 lies in there. 2 lies. And that's just that little 45-second clip. The first lie is we dodged the bullet. And you see the police letting these guys in, escorting them in. Pretty much. Standing around. I mean, you saw the video. Whatever officer that was, I don't even know what department that person was for, but he had a firearm. Had a firearm on him. And it didn't look like these other guys did. I mean, folks, something's not right. Something is wrong. Something's really wrong. And again, like we pointed out yesterday with my guest yesterday, I asked Dan Happel from Connecting the Dots Radio. I said, Dan, is it your understanding that you can only impeach a president if they're sitting president? He says, yeah, that's what I understand. It's okay. Well, today's the second day. It was yesterday. It's the second day of the Trump impeachment trial. Yes. So does logic dictate that the only way that if the only way you can impeach a president is someone if they're still president, and today's the second day of the impeachment trial, is Donald Trump still president? Because nothing else makes sense. Well, I talked to my mom earlier this morning. She goes, well, now they're saying that they started the impeachment before he got out of office. That apparently is their latest excuse. But let's break that down for a second if we can. Think about it in terms of an eviction. Let's say you live at a place and you don't pay your rent or you break the rules, whatever, and you have to get evicted. And the landlord sends you a 30-day notice and you got to be out in 30 days. So on the 33rd day or the 34th day, you finally leave. And you leave and everything's gone. Would the landlord still go forward with the eviction? It started before you left, right? They started the eviction, quote unquote, before you vacated the property. Now, once you vacate the property, do you think there's a court that's going to listen to a case of a landlord evicting a tenant who's already gone? Think about that for a second. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter if it started before he left office. Same scenario. Person gets evicted, they leave the place. There's no more standing. There's no more standing. There's no other person that has the. Now, if there's damages or somebody leaves and breaks out the place and smashes the windows out and rips up the car, that's a different story altogether. That's a totally different matter, right? That's another civil matter that can be brought up against a tenant. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about you're still going to go to court and waste the time and money to evict someone who's already left the place? No, you're not going to. So something is drastically wrong here, for sure. And Mike Lindell is an amazing person. If you want to support him, you can go to MyPillow. I think it's mypillow.com, right? MyPillow. Geez, I don't know. I'd like to actually run ads for Mike to help support him for what he's doing. I mean, he's putting out. I mean, folks, these people that are. I mean, I think he's pretty much a billionaire. Or if not, he's got hundreds of millions. These people put a lot of it on the line, you know, to take a stand against tyranny. I mean, it's costly. You know, it's costly. It costs a lot to stand up and go against the system. It does. I mean, it costs you in. You know, no doubt it costs in, you know, revenue or you know, income. It costs in, you know, reputation. It depends upon who you are. Like Curt Schilling, World Series pitcher, got canceled by his insurance company because of his social media profile. I think we covered that on the show before. So, you know, these are because his social media profile, because he stands up for conservative values, and that's against the establishment. The establishment aren't for that. They're not for conservative Christian values and that type of thing. It's not their thing. It's not their thing. So, yeah, there's a whole cancel culture out there where, you know, they want to, pardon me, cancel you from everything pretty much. Now they're talking about hunting down people that were formerly Trump supporters. I mean, these people have just lost their mind. I think they actually are certifiably crazy, some of these people. Like, I'm not joking. I guess they just don't want to live in a world and have any type of harmony at all. I don't know what else to say, but, you know, there's plenty of people that feel differently. So, you know, I just hope they keep that in mind. We do appreciate you looking here on the show today. We're going to be ending the broadcast. I had some writing to do here. I'm going to actually write an article here on this Jon Tester thing and attach this video. If you want to check out the latest news and what's going on here in Montana, you can go to MontanaDailyGazette.com, MontanaDailyGazette.com. And if you haven't seen this story here about Tracy Sebra here, who was beaten down by federal marshals, and of course now it's her fault. And we just got to hear. You just got to go check out the video if you can, on MontanaDailyGazette.com. Click on the article. You can catch the video there below. And we are going to have this young lady here on the broadcast tomorrow. She's 16 years old, Caitlin. Caitlin will be here tomorrow on the show. She went in front of the Montana legislature here and really knocked it out of the park. She's very articulate, very smart, and we are delighted to have her on the show here tomorrow. She will be joining us live here, I believe, at 9 a.m., and I'll send out the announcements for those shows later on today or tomorrow morning. We do appreciate you looking in here on the broadcast. I'm your host, James White. If you want to support us again, you can go to MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaDailyGazette.com, or the flagship northwestlibertynews.com. Appreciate you looking in. Get involved. Contact your legislator. You know, keep track of the bills that are going on here, like the bill that we covered earlier today with Jeremy Marsh. I think it's 279. This is what people pay attention to in the legislature, folks, is when you get involved. When you get involved, right? Because what it does is it lets them know that they have support. Because, you know, there is a deep state, even in Montana. There's a deep state, you know, it's about in every state. There is maybe save a couple, but mostly, and some elements of them in all, I think in all states. At any rate, what these people need is they need, encouragement. They need to know that you support them. They need to see your letters. They need to see your emails. They need to get your phone calls. That does help them. That helps them know that they're on the right track and that they have the support of the folks. So get involved. There's no other time to wait. It's not like you say, I'm going to wait until things get serious before I get involved. It's serious. It's serious. Take it from me. It's serious.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you?
Darn Siri. They're always listening, aren't they? They're always listening. So it is serious right now, folks. So get involved. We do appreciate you again looking in here on the show. Check us out again, MontanaDailyGazette.com. Until next time, this is James White for Montana Gazette Radio. Saying bye now.